Okay, so obviously I'm sharing the screen from the iPad here, and some of these applications are up there. We'll try to connect. Some of them will be connecting to Rusty's home servers, but he gave me his iPad and he said, go ahead and do it. And I said, okay. So we'll hopefully, he's got kids at home, so everything should be safe. Okay, so these are Dave's notes, Dave Test. Best standards-based viewing applications. He's suggested screens for VNC, which is what we have on here. And he suggested Jump Desktop for RDP. I've used Jump Desktop quite a bit. It's a really nice application. The really cool part about it is screens is good as well. Let's see, which one did he? Okay, Spider Cache. We'll see if this works. Creating tunnel. Hope you guys see everything. Okay, good. The poof, it's got nice, UI and all of that stuff. So it's coming through slowly, but you can see what it's doing. The really cool thing about Jump Desktop, and we learned about just Jump Desktop from Rusty, I think it's like $10 or $20. Sounds a little bit high, but of course there aren't a lot of people buying it compared to Angry Birds, right? But it's a really good application. It's very fast. The cool thing is, this is a really stupid thing, but I like this. The fact that I can move the cursor around, my finger's on the circle. It's not on the arrow. I can actually see where the arrow is. Nice. My finger's not, I don't have gigantic hands, but normally on some applications, you're trying to move the cursor and it's underneath your finger, but if you're zoomed out and you're trying to hit the 1 pixel, it's not easy. This is extremely easy for that. You can also pinch to zoom, and then, so I'm just doing the standard iOS navigation, and I can move the screen around, and let's see what music he's got. No, I'm kidding. So, you can, I believe there's a keyboard here, so you can type different things. I think I'll leave his machine alone. It's probably a good idea, huh? So we'll go to text edit, and if I just tap, come on. I'll make a new document. So you can see it's pretty easy to use, and you hold and drag and then double tap to type something. And so here's the zoom out of the video. So you can see the usability of it is really pretty good. Justin, if I can type, which I apparently can't, says hi. And I don't know if it shows the keyboard. Okay, good. There are also the Windows key, the Alt, and all of that. So I mean, it's a really decent, a pretty good application. And you can zoom back out. And there was another way to add more clients, but okay, that either quit or crashed. Probably crashed. At any rate, it's Jump Desktop, though, is a great application. It's been around for a while, and I've been using it with really good success. So there's that. The thing I have not played around with yet, but I've heard a lot of people having success with, is LogMeIn, one word. It's free. Best hosted viewing service. It's a free version, and it does plenty for being free. So LogMeIn has worked really well. I believe, who's used it in the room?
I've actually had better luck with TeamViewer.
TeamViewer?
It's another free one that's cross-platform between computers, and you can do any mobile device, including Android and iPad.
Oh, really? Android as well. Interesting.
TeamViewer is really good.
TeamViewer. Okay, so for the recording, TeamViewer is another option that sounds like it might be a contender for LogMeIn. So that's good to know. Okay, great. Yeah, at any time, please. Like I said, I'm winging this, so if anybody has suggestions like that, that's very much appreciated.
Have that nice little dot.
That's,
the arrow separate, though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, trade-off. The arrow. That's not everything. I mean, you want to be able to actually control the machine too. So, true. These are Dave's opinions, and I agree with these. Best SSH client, in his opinion, was Prompt. It's awesome with a Bluetooth keyboard. So Prompt, these are all available in the iOS App Store, of course. And I don't know if Rusty has it on here or not. Yeah, I've messed around with ISSH. Also, it wasn't MacTerm. It was not ZTerm. That's really old stuff. I was just trying to remember the other iOS app. It's probably on my iPhone. I should probably bring it up, but because I use it quite a bit. Had to fix a server when I was on an airplane. They were yelling at me, and I'm like, wait. Okay. TouchTerm, I've had good success with too. And ISSH, though I recall, has a really nice VNC in it as well. So you can add different configs at the top. You can add a configuration. I thought there was VNC. Yep, so you have SSH, shell, VNC. It also does RDP. So it's a pretty robust and mature product. It's been around for a while. So.
Which one's that?
This one was called ISSH. so that's a good one too. Hi, welcome. I'm winging it. Dave Test is out. He's ill, so I'll try to. So if any suggestions you have, please. We apologize, but he's emailed me his list, and that's what I'm going through right now. So, and best OS 10 server monitoring app is Server Admin Remote. I think I had that, and I don't know if that's that may not be iStat Menus. There's also an iStat Menus, which is a really nice remote monitoring. So I can bring up, the App Store may come up here. That was a really nice one. iStat Menus is really pretty, and it works really well on OS 10. And I believe that you can install an agent on a machine. And I was doing this for my home servers, and you can, there you go. I'm like, wow, I'm glad that was, yeah. Okay, obviously Rusty has kids. Okay, what kind of kid? Oh, that's kind of cool. There's the barn, some ice cream. Okay. So I'm like, oh God, why are they laughing? I'm like thinking it's something bad. And it's not, right? What was I searching for? Derailed. I wanted to show you. Thank you. All right, so iStat had some stuff too for iOS that was really cool. Obviously, I'm throwing mine in as well here, so. Anyway, well, that comes up. There it is. Yep. And iStat, system monitoring for battery. Yep, you remotely monitor your Mac or Mac server. So that's also another nice application too. Has lots of stats on usage of disk and networking. Temperatures of CPU. I mean, if you've used iStat Menus, you know how cold it is in the Mac. Yeah.
Does that require something locally on the server, or does it just access the Mac server?
I believe it has an agent that it does install. The one that Dave is talking about in his email, Server Admin Remote, might be talking to Server Manager D. So it might be talking to Apple's native install tools instead of having to talk to the iStat agent. It might. So test and see.
You don't have to install anything for Server Admin Remote on the server box.
You don't?
Right.
Good.
So it just ties in through like the worker manager stuff.
I think.
Server admin stuff.
Does it? Okay, good. And I like iStat Menus, and that's a good point. I'm glad you guys are asking, because on a server, I like to install as little stuff as possible. It's third party, right? On a client, I don't care as much. But a server, the fewer things you can install, the better. So that might be a better application to use for that reason.
Yeah, iStat, I do run it just because it was free, and I was having problems with temperature, so you can actually run it on a client machine as well, just, that's on 24/7.
Oh, right, in the same room maybe as the server?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, good idea.
Even for my own, because my own desktop, I'm going to segregate it during the summer, but it serves stuff. Like file maker databases and stuff.
Right.
And we were having problems, my office was getting way too hot, cooling wasn't, and I was just using iStat, but I just made it a login item, I just have an account, a restricted account all the time.
And it's, yeah.
And it's fine, but you do have to have that running.
Yep. Yeah, some of these applications require your Mac is logged in and running the thing versus being a service agent, daemon, launch agent, whatever. Yeah.
If you do go the third-party route, one of the tools that we found that we like is Lithium, and you do have to install it on the servers and stuff. They do have a great iOS app, and it shows you your whole schema of all the servers you have. It also allows you to get notifications for certain things, so you can set up different rules and flags, and they'll do like LS notifications when you're on your desktop, or I believe they do push for the iOS stuff. And so if you have a system-critical server and you want to know when that CPU picks because you're about to get flooded with tickets, that's kind of a good early warning system.
Right. Is that it? Looks like that's it?
Yep.
I think I've seen advertisements for it in Mac Tech Magazine because it looked like really decent monitoring. So, okay, great. Yeah, another one.
Guys from Australia.
What's that? Oh,
Guys from Australia.
are they?
James.
Oh, Sentman maybe, or, well, yeah. But that's cool. Cool, yeah, these are great ideas. Glad this is being recorded so I can watch it again and we all can watch it and remember what we're talking about. So, yeah, no, that's really good. I had forgotten about that one too. And best multi-platform monitoring app, iStat. Yep, we just had talked about that one. Best, I've not tested this because we use Kerberos and LDAP instead of Active Directory, but which AD is kind of like that, I realize. But best AD tool, AD Help Desk, configure users, reset passwords, lock accounts, manage objects, and AD groups. I don't know if anybody's had experience with that. Yeah, I'll look for it. It's called AD Help Desk, no spaces. So we'll see if it's here. AD Help Desk. Yeah, Dave, like I said, is one of my best friends, and he finds the coolest apps, and so he's like, have you heard about this? And he probably has. He knows.
What's the price on that one?
Yeah, let's look at that. Looks like it was $8. It went away, but it was $7.99. It looked like so. How are the reviews? Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. So that's a good thing.
There's a light free version too for the iPhone. It's pretty handy.
Oh, there is a free version.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you back up, there's some.
Okay.
Just light.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Oh. Okay. Thanks. Cool. And again, like the light apps, it may do most of what you need. So that's good to know. Thanks. Yeah. Cool. Huh. I'm learning stuff all the time. If I wasn't learning, I'd be bored. And bonus apps for sysadmins. Let's see, he's got Prowl. Prowl is fantastic. So Prowl is push notification to your phone. Doesn't use SMS. It's push notifications from servers or Intermapper, Nagios, however you want to say it. And you can register a key on their site, and it's using Apple's push notification system for your phone, and it also can have quiet hours. So you can use it with a bazillion different things. They also have a Prowl plugin for Growl. You can also call it from Perl, I use Perl, but you can use it also in a scripting manner as well. So it's really nice for servers. So we set it up on using Intermapper, and you have a public key that you register with your phone. And then, so it's obviously the handshake requirement, and then I can push notifications to my phone. So if a server goes down and it's quiet hours, you can also set the severity level. If it's an urgent one, then I'll get it at 2 a.m. If it's not urgent, then I won't see it, and I'll queue up, and I want to go to sleep from 10 to whatever. So Prowl, yep, there's the Growl client, but there it is. So the iPhone apps, Prowl is fantastic. We've used it for a long time. So it's, yep. And then, it supports a lot of other devices as well. But I can't say enough about it. It's fantastic. And it's really cheap, too. I think it was $2.99? Yep, $2.99. That was for a split second, so I don't know if you saw that. But fantastic push notification application. And the website's really good, too. You can generate, so the other cool thing about it is, you can generate multiple keys based on application. So if one of the services gets compromised, which never happens, of course, but let's just say it did. You had a server that has a script on it that uses this particular key. Well, that server gets compromised, then you can also generate additional keys through the website and for different services. So it's kind of a nice feature. So it's a very well thought out application. System administration will really get a lot out of it, I think. Okay. Jump in here at any time, please. Parallels also is a VNC style control of your VMs. I don't use Parallels as much. I think, anybody have experience with that? I think you can enable Parallels and have a VNC connection to the VMs that you're running, and then you could use it and connect from, is that right? Okay. So that's probably what he means by that. I have not messed around with that functionality,
Works
but.
amazingly well.
Does it?
It's almost like scary good.
Oh, good.
You can, if you don't have any VMs running, even it'll prompt what VMs you have on your system, and then you can initiate a VM
Really?
from your iPad remotely. So
Do you know if the password and username is passed in the clear, or if it's tight VNC and it's secure?
I've done that.
I would hope it's, yeah. Probably by today, I would think it's secure, and if not, use a VPN or SSH tunnel to get to it, but cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. Netmaster for LAN scanning, service discovery, ping, and traceroute, port scanner, and subnet calculator. The CIDR notation, anybody like that? So we'll see if that's available here too. Yeah, should we? King of Kong, anyone? It's now available. Anyway, it's been a while available. So Netmaster, oh, that's right, this one's pretty cool. Netmaster HD, Dave told me about this one too, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome. So that one's pretty cool. Just yet another monitoring application, the summary. Yep, network analysis diagnostics. I didn't see, oh, it's okay. So that one's $10. But I believe that was one of my favorite applications. It's pretty too. There's also the Apple's Airport, I believe it's got some pretty gooiness to it, because Apple's good at that, of course. And you also have the Airport utility, which works surprisingly well. For being out so quickly is what I mean. Not that Apple writes poor software. I didn't mean that. But I've been using this quite a bit. They did lose some functionality on macOS 10. You lost the ability to do IPv6 stuff, I think, and maybe some other features. You're not in your, what else did they remove, or they're adding slowly?
The IPv6, and
Yeah.
there was, I don't remember if there was like a wireless security piece that they removed too.
Oh,
So I've kept the old version just
Yeah.
to be able to configure.
yeah, definitely, exactly. Keep the old version, and
They took away IPv6?
I'm sorry?
You're saying they took away IPv6?
I heard, I haven't confirmed this myself. I've used this at home. I was using, IPv6 is now enabled by default and uses a bunch of your local link and all that kind of stuff. The Magic at home is really pretty cool. Also, back to my Mac, I think uses it somehow. But anyway, the application doesn't have a tab to get you to IPv6 configurations, I think, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, well, the macOS app was a total rewrite. It now looks like
Yeah,
this.
right.
Whereas before it looked like more like a traditional Mac app.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, yeah, so where is it? It might just not be there.
Right, they may not have added it, or
Find it, but
right, they may just not have added it yet. So, so that was another app that I've used as well, and it works pretty well. I mean, it was nice. I had some problems with my router. I was at home. My son's crying loudly, and the cats are screaming because they want to be fed and all this. And so I'm like, the routers are down. My wife wants to get on the phone. I'm like, hold on, beep beep beep. Rebooted all of them from my phone, and it worked beautifully. So it was nice, and that worked out pretty well. While I'm searching for the other tools that I use on here, anybody else have something to offer up that they've used?
If anyone uses Web Help Desk, they have an iPhone app that you can run on your iPad that is pretty handy for when you're in a meeting and you want to keep an eye on the ticket queue or anything like that.
What's the name again?
I think it's just Web Help Desk.
Web Help Desk, okay.
WHD Mobile.
WHD Mobile, okay. No, that's not a W. HD, is that right? We'll see. Okay, cool. Yeah, keep them coming. This is good stuff. And if the battery lasts 20%, we'll do some more. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like it's not a standalone application to log in. You must have an account on the Web Help Desk's backend server. Okay. Yeah, I didn't look at I should have looked for the Log Me In. Is there an iOS app for Log Me In? Anybody? I don't know if there is or not. That might be.
No spaces though.
Yeah, sometimes it's good enough to. Right. Okay, so there's that. I like the comics one. That looked pretty interesting, but. Yep. So this was the other one that Dave was mentioning. So. Top in-app purchases. Okay. Anyway, so that's the one that we were talking about there. The one I was bringing up here just a second ago, it's not remote administration really, but it's kind of useful to use. What is it? Mobile mouse? I believe it also has, it requires an agent to be installed. I need to spell things correctly. It supports Windows and Mac, and it's pretty nice to say that, let's just say you happen to build arcade cabinets and you've got a Windows machine inside of it, and you want to have your mouse controlling it because you don't have a keyboard and mouse hooked up to it. It works really well for that, for remote control of a particular device. Or you've got a kiosk in the airport, and I've seen some people actually using this particular application. So it's this one. Another one that Dave told me about. So he's really up on the iOS apps, so that's great. So this is another app that's pretty cool. Remote tracking, yep. And this one's specifically for the iPad, but it's cool. It also can turn into, you can configure, you have to install an agent on the Mac, the client, your desktop Mac or PC, and then on the iOS device it would connect. And then you can have a full trackpad type of thing and also a keyboard as well. So, yep. And so, anyway.
My favorite for non-iPad use is Hippo Remote.
Sorry, which one?
Hippo Remote.
Hippo Remote.
Highly recommend.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Anyone else? Have anything else they want to throw out?
Kind
there anything that can kind of turn an iPad into a Wacom tablet? Like, would those trackpad apps be able to do that kind of thing?
I've seen something that can turn it into a second display. There's something that, right? I've tried, the name of that escapes me. Anybody know?
Air display?
Air display? Maybe that's, okay.
Display
It's not air supply, but air display, right?
Well, what I was gonna say is with respect to turning into a walking tablet, is you don't have any pressure sensitivity.
There's a little star with that. They are, Wacom announced a couple of weeks ago that they're making a new stylus.
Yep.
It's Bluetooth.
Oh.
That will have pressure sensitivity
Ah.
in the stylus.
And that tells the app how much to draw based on, that's pretty cool.
So it's not out yet. I don't have a clue when it's coming out, but it's
That's-
forthcoming.
That's
It
interesting.
also does,
Sorry, James?
the paper app does
Wacom's
basic.
making it.
Oh, yeah, the paper application, which everybody went nuts for, but excellent. That's cool. My wife's going to want to know that because she's an artist by night. And so she went nuts for the paper application, which has some levels of sensitivity. And, but that was really cool. Madeline, yeah.
Extra tools for that paper app?
Yep.
That's what I was trying to think of, but then I couldn't figure out how to download it, I would like know where.
It's you go to the bottom, you swipe up, it brings up the things, and if you click on it, it says in-app purchase, and then you buy them there.
Yeah, it's like-
Okay.
it's
Do
like
you have to
$8
put in a
bucks.
credit card when you buy an app?
It uses your iTunes Store credentials on the machine, on your iPad, iOS device. It works the standard way for all in-app
It's gonna show me how to do
applications.
it.
Yep, yep, cool.
You just swipe up.
Yeah, that's why we're here, all to help each other out.
Did you already mention that?
Sorry, JSS. Oh, that's right. Yep, thank you.
Yep, we hit that. Turn.
Yep. I have not used it. Have you? Does it work well? We're bringing up the Jamf
It's like a mobile web.
lighter version of it. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Excellent point. Since there's so much love for Jamf here at the conference, which they have good stuff. Yep. Come
It's
on.
actually best for reading information out of your JSS.
Is it?
You need to do any manipulation or anything, it just opens up a full view of the JSS, which is a little less convenient.
So it's more of an emergency kind of thing. I've got to take care of something right now. Yeah.
Add someone to a policy, you're not creating workflows and stuff like that.
Right. Right. You're putting out fires.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If you're sitting in a meeting and need to generate a report for your boss, it's also.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. Let's
You mentioned Splash Top.
splash top. Oh, well, look. We will look.
Splash Top is great for remote control from my
Thanks, James. Is it one? Okay. I was hoping it would take the space out. Sometimes it does. Come on. Well, that's coming up. I've got the other list here too. Utilities. We talked about that.
Splash Top remote desktop.
Okay. Cool. Reader, games, newsstand, mailboard.
Its killer feature is you sign in with a Google account on the server application on the computer and in the iPad app, and it will make the connection happen over the internet. So you can be anywhere, you don't have to be on the same LAN, and it'll allow you to remote control the computer. And it does it using Google Talk to negotiate the IP address and that transversal. And if it fails that, it'll actually stream it over to Google servers for free.
Really?
You pay that $5 fee and you can access any computer anywhere that you set up. It's not for managing some random employee's system because you have to set up the streamer, you have to set up the app, you have to sign in, you set a password. But it works really, really well for managing your own system remotely and accessing it.
I just, fantastic. Thanks, James.
Also, Splash Top works with Flash video or video games.
Yeah, they showed something here, it looks like.
As long as it doesn't take up the full screen, it'll work. It basically recompresses a video feed of the display on the computer and sends it over the internet.
Really? Huh.
And it works really, really well.
That's pretty cool. There's also a Crash Plan client, too. Now, it's just for downloading. Right, Randy? I think we were talking, you were twittering about it. tweeting about it, not twittering. Wow, I sound old.
I think it's just the restoration of data that it
Yeah.
does and the crash plan backup.
Yeah. Now they kind of hinted that they might be making another version that backs up the phone itself, and I'm like, that's a sandboxed app. Maybe they got something working with Apple on that. But anyway, so yeah, so Crash Plan works really well also so that you can do remote restores. I think Crash Plan in the iOS though, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to have a paid Crash Plan Central account, I believe, right? But I don't think it'll work if you have a free account. But yeah, I just don't remember if. Yeah, right, because it can't call home too. Yeah.
The app will work with the, no, wait, I'm sorry. I misheard what you said.
No problem.
I know there's an app, if you use Press Store and all for your backup, they have an agent that will connect in, so when you're out and about and you want to know, hey, is this backup running? You can do that as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, what's the app called? Or
Press Store.
okay.
Pressstore.
That's what I use for archiving and backing up my exam.
Okay, interesting. Did I
It's only an iPhone app, so it'll scale on the iPad, but
Press Store Mobile?
yeah.
Is it that one? Okay, cool. Interesting.
Great ways when you travel at conferences and whatnot,
Uh huh.
to be able to have that visibility and.
Once wireless is working. Yes. Is it working well today? Most of the
The
time?
key was re-enabled.
Right. Yep, I think it expires after 24 hours or something maybe. Interesting, money press start server premiere.
Wireless is definitely going to become more and more important as we switch over to an iPad and mobile world.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's been important for many years now.
Yeah, but even it becomes critical because that's your only way out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. They added more APs and everything else. They bumped it up specifically for this conference. Once they fixed the channel ID numbers, all was a lot better. So, yep.
That goes for people's homes, people, they don't necessarily know what router to buy or what that means.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
something that we have to tell them about. Don't just buy the cheapest router out there.
Exactly. It's all about education. And sorry, I'm looking through. Here's my son applications. You probably don't care about the games about that, but the network monitoring ones and those are pretty much what I was going to hit.
Did you show LAN scan? I think that's what it's called.
That sounds familiar. Okay. Come
It
on.
allows you to ping and scan your subnet, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. And if you have jailbroken applications, there are also some others that do get more access to showing APs and what channels they're using and all of that too. So I don't jailbreak any of my phone to work all the time. And it's nothing against jailbreaking. I don't work for Apple, so I can say that. But I'd like my phone to be as stable as possible. So
It's an iPhone.
gotcha. Yep. It's a LAN scan. Okay.
But it works really well.
Oh, and it says complete Wi-Fi scanner. So that might.
Yeah, it works. It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Everything.
And it's in the App Store.
Yeah, it's scary.
Does it show the channels?
No.
I'll just start buying a bunch of stuff on Rusty's iPad and we'll try them all out. Does that sound good? Oh, that wasn't worked. Oh, it's only $4.
You need an Android phone.
Okay, that's cool. Awesome.
You want more?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, anybody else has got some, feel free to speak up because I need help.
G-admin.
G-admin.
So if you use anything with Google Apps, that's a way to get a nice little mobile app to be able to view, change some information, reset user passwords mobilely.
Cool. And I know you are using that a lot, I'll bet.
Not too much, really.
No? Oh,
Sync it over from OD.
oh okay. Oh, that's right. That works. Interesting. Cool. Okay. For Google Apps. Pretty neat.
There's an app for, it's not for the iPad, but it gives you all the Dell troubleshooting codes. So like the beeps and the light blinks and all the stuff and what that means. So when your Dell system doesn't boot up, should tell you exactly how to interpret what that is. It'll tell you like, oh, it's the video card, oh, it's the network card, oh, it's
What's it called?
man, I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. I'm sure Google
I
would.
use it almost daily because I support Dells and Macs, so I use that.
Cool.
I'm
Yeah.
looking for it.
Okay, that's fine.
Either Dell or Dell.
I don't think it's Dell.
Is there Dell in the word?
Diags.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it, that's it.
Dell?
Dell Diags.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dell space DIAGS. Should be a yellow triangle with like heartbeat through it.
Oops. Actually, probably it was. There we go. We'll see if that works.
It's down.
Ah, there it is.
Like the short name of the screen is nice.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because they have to.
Yeah, so right there.
That's pretty
You
cool.
don't even have to install it. You can just look right there and it'll tell you.
Yeah. 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 Pretty much. Yeah. Because I bought a bunch of GX280s. That was a mistake. Capacitors blown on all of them, and I went to eBay, and the guy was selling motherboards on eBay for $8. So I bought a few of those. So. And you leave the case open, have a fan blowing out, then it's okay. You guys know about it. The GX280s, holy cow, they pop in capacitors, no cooling in them at all. Like, oh my God.
Splashtop also has some other apps. Use the same streamer, the same like thing you install on the actual laptop.
Right?
And one allows you to browse the file system and drag files from your machine without having to like remote control the interface and dig through the way you normally would. You're just doing it from the iOS interface to browse the file system. There's one called, from the same company, it streams the webcam on any webcam hooked up to the computer to the iOS device. So instead of bringing down the screen, you bring down the camera. There's another app by the same company that I think it does the second display thing that we were talking about, like using the iPad as a second display for a laptop. All using the exact same app on the machine.
Impressive. That's pretty cool. Cool. Any others?
I
Yeah.
have a question, actually. Does anyone have an app that they're using to track any of the iOS devices? Like to enroll or unenroll or?
Randy? I'm looking at you because you did configurator and it was awesome. Good question. Yeah, I don't know.
The closest you might get is like the mobile version of a website that an MDM has.
Because I downloaded this Sentry app and it just hasn't been working away.
Yeah, I don't know. JSS, if you have the Jamf installation, that might have some way through, but that requires, of course, Jamf to connect to, but I don't have any, I haven't heard of one for that. Yeah. Any questions for, because if I don't know it, and I don't know a lot, there may be folks in the room who can help out and give ideas, so if anybody else is looking for, has a question. James, or, yeah.
I do know if it was asked before, but is there a way you can see the iOS screens? Help desk can see the iOS screens to help.
Oh, remote into someone's iOS device? I don't believe that's possible.
You need another iOS device in case.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and you have to show, so every iPad comes with a free iPod Touch or something. Or, that's a good question, yeah, and I think it's maybe a security thing for.
The closest you can get.
Yeah.
I think the closest you can get on that is jailbreaking the device, installing a VNC app, and then being able to VNC into the iPad. But
Yeah.
wouldn't suggest doing that.
Yeah, yeah. And mirrored glasses of them holding it with the FaceTime, and so it wouldn't work too well that way either. Probably, I'm just guessing. Yeah, hold it a little bit. Okay, stand next to your closet mirror. Okay, move a little bit. There you go. This is what it looks like. No.
Sorry, time's up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, great. James.
Yeah, at Penn State we use Adobe Connect and we have Polycom rooms and there's apps for both of those on an iPad. You can remote into a Polycom room from an iPad, and you can also participate in an Adobe Connect session from iPhone, iPod Touch, and iPad. The Polycom system requires that you have a server, instances, and a bridge and all that stuff, but we already got it, so we can use it. It's like a CMA desktop.
Cool. Is it? I assume it's this one, Adobe Connect.
Yeah, that's the
Yep.
Adobe Connect.
I've had good luck also with Skype on iOS as well. It's worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
It's not remote administration of servers necessarily, but
Need some experience with WebEx or GoToMeeting. Those seem to work well on iPads also.
cool. others?
We have Crestron touch panels in our conference rooms, and we're actually replacing all of our touch panels with iPads running a Crestron X panel.
Ah,
And it works pretty well.
yeah.
I mean, really well for Crestron.
What does that take on the back end? That's something I've been trying to do.
We didn't have to change anything. We just took our configs that were running on the touch panels and migrated them to the X panel. And all our existing infrastructure was appropriate for what we ended up moving.
But do you have a server running in the background, or what does that talk to?
I don't know what we have in our rack for Crestron.
I assume it's Crestron Mobile Pro or Crestron Mobile G. Does those look right? Okay.
I think the light version
Yeah.
that's next to it is if you have a touch panel interface that's really simple under a certain size.
Okay.
I think there are few people probably qualified for that.
Probably. They're probably buying the better.
Buy the app and you use it on all of your iPads or your rooms, just switch them at the same time.
Definitely looks pretty.
I hope they have VPP discounts on that.
Yeah, that's a.
Based on the price?
Yeah. Yeah. What was it? How much was it? Yeah. Ha. Hopefully they've got a few discounts. And again, it's a niche application. So, but still, I agree with you, Randy. It's going to be.
It looks great though. It looks great.
Yeah.
So we were gonna need to get a new battery for a touch panel, and the price of an iPad was less than the price of a battery for the Crestron.
Are you kidding?
So the app was like nothing compared to that.
For the recording batteries for Crestron systems, yeah, don't get them. Get an iPad. Okay. Wow. Okay, that's good to know. And we use Crestron systems. Dave Test actually is in the technology classroom group of Classroom Computing. He has extensive experience with Crestron systems, and so they have them all the time in different areas. So I know that they're always evaluating new types of technology. So it seems like it's the de facto thing for professional installations of podiums, things like that. Cool. Anyone else have anything they want to share? Remote system admin tricks that they've done, iOS devices, and.
So maybe it goes without saying, but 1Password.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right. I agree totally. Yeah. 1Password. Agile systems, I think. Agile Bits. Thanks. 1Password is pretty is awesome. What's that, James?
I'm a LastPass fan myself.
LastPass.
What do those do?
They're password managers. I'm not going to bring it up on Rusty's machine because that would be too much of a violation, but privacy issue. It's if you use it with Dropbox too for syncing. I'll bring it up in the App Store at least so you can see this pretty icon. But 1Password is fantastic for storing passwords, serial numbers for applications, credit card information, and so it has a really nice installation for web browsers. And instead of having to remember all your passwords, you can hold down a command and, I don't know, it's muscle memory. Command / or // / I did that wrong again, but anyway. It'll automatically fill out the information, and it can also generate really strong secure passwords that you still don't have to remember because it's in 1Password. Then you can synchronize it to Dropbox, and other machines can get it. And if you're using Dropbox, you can then use the 1Password application on your iOS device, and it can get the files and load it from Dropbox as well. So it's a nice, fully synchronized. If you update an application password here, it updates. They all get it that way too. Yaden, you had something? Yaden, you had a question, or?
At this point, my server base is mostly Windows and Red Hat systems that I'm maintaining. So I'm wondering if other people are in that boat and what iOS apps they've found that are kind of their favorites for monitoring and connecting to Windows 2008 servers and Red Hat servers.
I'm betting Jump Desktop would work for those pretty well. I mean, it's RDP, and I think Dave Test's list was, I think Screens was for VNC. So there might be others. I'm sure there are a bunch of others that would connect, but I think that was what. But yeah, you're asking if people have had other experiences with other applications for that. Yeah, whatever works.
My crazy way around is to splash top into a real computer and then RDP from there, because otherwise I can't get Kerberos and NLA and all that other stuff to work, because you can't just RDP from an iPad and get Kerberos.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep, there's been a friend of mine did something similar at a very large university. They had this was a really great idea. He is one of the mail server administrators, DNS for a major university. And occasionally they need to get in from airports and they can't get on the Wi-Fi, or otherwise, they are such a rush. The cost is prohibitive to buy wireless, but I would think you would all the time. But at any rate, they have a machine outside of their intranet that is running a secure, running SSH on default of port 80, and pretty much all locations, port 80 is always open. So he can, without even having to pay for wireless access, he can get to his SSH tunnel that's entering on port 80 and then have access to his inside intranet network with a lot of other authentication. What you said reminded me of doing something similar to that. There are a lot of SSH key requirements and a lot of password gates to go through, but that's another option too. So I did something similar to what you talked about. I did that on my home machine for once. I had to get to my server at home through work or on my iOS devices, and then I can see one on my wife's machine if she's at home for some reason, and I can then say, oh yeah, hold on a second, then I can fix it remotely. So yeah, it's a good idea.
You mentioned online desktop.
Sorry?
Online desktop.
I haven't heard of that one. Is it here?
Online runs a cloud service where you can remote into a Windows 2002 server and run Microsoft Office on the iPad.
Interesting.
It's a full operating system.
Huh.
And then there's paid plans where you can get internet access out of there and be able to flash.
Interesting.
On live desktop.
That's right. Yeah, we've got it on screen too. Cool. Wow. Yeah, well, and it's free, but there looks like there's a. Holy cow! That's a lot of reviews. That's good. That's always good to see. I'd rather see a lot of reviews than not many.
They were in a legal situation with Microsoft because what they were doing is they were streaming Windows 7 out and not paying licenses. No cows, no
Ooh.
licenses, nothing.
Yeah, they may be shut down pretty quickly for that. But now they're all cleaned up and they're legal and good to go.
They say they are. Microsoft says they're still looking into it.
So you're saying get this soon, but don't trust it's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool service though.
Yeah.
It's worth playing with.
Yep.
Especially since you essentially get a full Windows experience on an iPad.
That's
interesting.
That's interesting.
And they also have oh no, it's not them. Splashtop has a special version just for Windows 8.
Yeah.
So if you, it's a Windows, it's the remote control Windows 8, but it's meant for the iPad to give you the exact same experience as a Windows 8 tablet. So if you have, the idea is that you can take any computer, put Windows 8 on it, and then get the Windows 8 tablet experience without having to buy a Windows 8 tablet, which don't exist. So.
Well, it saves me the trouble of buying the Windows machine, a tablet, and saying, nope, okay, iPad. Just kidding. Just kidding. That's true. Yeah, and that's why we have VMs, because we are developing things on the Mac, and so it looks great in Safari, testing in Firefox. Okay, now testing in IE9 or whatever versions. Good point. Yeah, I don't know why this is free if there's no in-app purchase. So, any rate. So. Okay. Then you get extra features. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Thanks, James. You've had a ton of them today. Thank you. Anyone else? Questions for the group? Remote administration issues you've had? Yes.
Not so much sysadmin, but then you have out there like websites or software that's good. You've got users going into the Mac, coming out of the PC world. It's kind of like a good tutorial, or kind of walks them through, kind of breaks them into the whole iOS type environment or Mac environment. I know there's 101.
That was lynda.com.
What's that?
Lynda.com. And we just sign folks in, we're given an account, and they can self-paced train themselves into it. And they actually have a switcher video series going Windows to Mac specifically.
It's a great.
Stuff is free too.
Yeah, it's a great. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's a great service. I mean, we had it at Penn State for years, and we had a bunch of different departments, all had licenses, and then central purchasing said, wait a minute, hey, you guys have it, let's work with them, get a deal, and we got a really sweet deal with them, and I love it because there's excellent training on the site. It's fantastic. Yeah, it really is. And you can speed up the video too, so that people sound like they're chipmunks, but they do talk faster, which is kind of cool. Right, so then they sound like me maybe. Yeah.
Second, I'd point out that we also have a corporate account that's tied into our Active Directory, so people can log in with their own credentials just directly from our AD.
Yeah. Through lynda.com, you're saying you have the AD login and authenticated trust. Yeah, they recently added it for us too. Yeah. Yeah, through the lynn.com, they have a portal for Penn State, and they probably can do it for, obviously, lots of environments. And you can do a portal login, and then it gives you credentials, and it says what institution, then it goes boom, 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 and it's really slick. They've done an excellent job. And they have OS 10 server training, they used to. Do they have Lion server training? I thought they had some stuff like that. So it's really up-to-date stuff, and then they have the WCS5 stuff. Okay, great. I'm kidding, we support those folks, so. But it's really good training, so, yeah. We only care about system administration, right? Right, of course. Well, okay, I like to draw sometimes, but.
I use the tutorials for Final Cut Studio, which are free. You don't have to log in for those.
Really? And the quality is amazing. I mean, it plays really well full screen, and you can, scrub very nicely. And there are tutorial files, too, on their website that you can download and go along with the tutorial sometimes. Uh-oh, low battery. Rusty's going to kill me. Sure.
OmniGraph.
Yeah.
What's it called? OmniGraph.
Yeah,
Get the pro version, don't even bother.
It is that good.
It's available for the Mac as well. It was originally available for the Mac. But some
Yeah,
other
it's-
platforms.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
Is it available now on others?
Yeah.
Well, no, I meant.
Oh.
I mean Mac OS and iOS.
Oh, okay. Yep. OmniGraph is fantastic. The company's been around supporting the Mac forever.
There's also the Lithium, which is the terrible free knockoff online.
Yeah.
Can you import Visio into that?
Yes. Yeah, in their newest version, you can import Visio, and I believe you can export as well or something. Yeah, that's what I said, just get the pro version.
Yeah, don't even bother, it sounds like. Yep.
And they have a user community that builds tons of little stencils.
Right.
So,
I forgot,
you can,
yep.
yeah, go into Graphtopia or whatever it is and search for, Cisco network diagrams. And there's your graphical, that you can import right away. It's really, I like it because I can actually, it's so easy to use. Like our web team needed it, and I just threw it at them and was like, here, go use that. And no training, they're up and running within 10 minutes. Yeah.
The user contributed art was fantastic because I had to do an extra rack demonstration and things like that. I'm like, oh God. And then somebody told me that, I'm like, oh wow, boom, 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 boom. I was done in half an hour easily, and I was tinkering a lot for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right.
There are rumors that Microsoft will be releasing a full Office suite for iOS. I don't know if that'll happen. It's certainly not guaranteed, but there are really strong rumors that that's going to happen.
It probably would sell well, I suspect.
Yes, it would. Another thing that I have that, again, this is diverging from management stuff, but I have an iFi card in my camera, and as I shoot pictures, I can dump them out to an iPad or other device wirelessly. And if I'm in an open hotspot area, it can actually send that stuff up to the iFi servers and then send it to Facebook or Flickr automatically without me having to do anything whatsoever. But if I'm in a restricted Wi-Fi area, the iFi card will actually create create a hotspot, and then the iPad can tie into that, and then I can pull it across wirelessly to the iPad, and then I can edit the photos and then send them to wherever I want from the iPad.
What's the card?
iFi is the company, it's EYEFI. And it also does geotagging based on all the Wi-Fi hotspots in the area. So it records all the MAC addresses of all the wireless APs at the time the picture was taken, and then later on turns that into a geotag.
Don't tell my wife Heidi that, she would love it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We've been thinking about getting the iFi for a while. We've been waiting for the price to go down.
It was on Move a couple times.
Was it? Yeah, I'll have to watch that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I got the pro version that does RAW to my computer at home.
Wow. It's pretty fast?
For JPEGs, it's very fast.
Wow, yeah, RAW's going to be longer.
It's very slow.
Yep.
It also has what's called an endless memory mode, where you can have it send the JPEGs to your computer and then delete them off the card, so you never have to take the card out of the camera ever.
Wow.
And you just shoot and shoot and shoot. You set like a threshold to say whenever it fills up past this point, start deleting.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. James, next year we'll be doing a session on photography and iOS tricks. Very cool. Excellent. 9% battery. We're still good. Any other questions for the crowd? Anything you've had, want to know how to do remote admin? Anything iOS related? Any other?
Giant battery bricks from Monoprice.
Oh, they are, and they don't blow up and they're safe?
I don't know.
I've had some problems with some of their iOS device cables. They fray very easily, so sometimes most of the time their stuff's pretty good, but I kind of worry about that fraying a little bit.
The mobile batteries are super helpful.
Yeah, I agree, definitely.
Is there anything that can connect to VGA and power at the same time? Because that, like your little bundle that like
Yes.
my one does.
Yes,
But that one-
monoprice.com might have something that does that, I think. Because, yeah, Dave and I are always looking for components, and he has to support faculty in technology podiums with iPad devices, so he's looking at all that stuff all the time. I recall he mentioned I think there might be something that does that. There's probably a breakout cable that has it. So it's just monoprice.com. They might have.
Yeah, I've used Monoprice, but I haven't looked for iOS.
Yeah, they might have something there that does that, because there's also crazy splitters for video out. I mean, you've got this gigantic cable sometimes, but yeah.
I have a Google Doc that I compile iPad hardware and software, and I have like a work, like business-related stuff, and then I have personal, like this is stuff I recommend, and I have like been adding on to it and compiling it. It's something I need to like throw out there, maybe put on the website.
Yeah.
So that people can take a look at it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can put on the the MacAdmins internal wiki is private to Penn State, but we have the macadmins.psu.edu site. We could add some resources there. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
I hate to suggest something trivial, but if people don't know about it, if you want to know what the specs are of some of the Macs that you have out there, Mac Tracker. It has, if you don't have that, there's an iOS app, there's a Mac app, and so when someone says, I've got a MacBook, because I don't normally do support, but profs do come to me, and I've got a MacBook, and I have to try to describe it, and I can then pull this up, start narrowing down what the specs are. And actually, one of the reasons I plug it is because it's written by a guy in Edmonton, so just living north of me. So, but he keeps it up regularly.
What's that?
I like the icon. Can it actually crack that computer?
Actually, it's been around forever.
Yep.
It's been around a long time.
For iOS devices, certain things not like, it won't tell you necessarily how much RAM is in an iOS device, it's the published specs. But yeah, it'll go back up to,
There you go.
Mac.
Oh, I'm going to cry a little bit. I had a Mac 2 CI. Sweet. And I had an SI.
Yeah, that was the first Mac.
I had the SE30, the 2 CI. Let's go through all of them that I had. No. That'll take forever. Yeah, the LC, not so much. The LC3, now the LC3 was cool.
Initial price. Oh, and then on top of that, because it has some other international specs, so if you prefer to know that it was in grams or kilograms rather than ounces, it does that. So this, you see where it says initial price, that's the American price, which is that, but I can get what the Canadian prices were at the time.
Holy cow.
So it's a
Wow.
repository for trivia, but for some of the technical stuff, it's actually quite neat.
Here's the 2FX. I had one from my boss many years ago. Look at the price.
12.
Yeah. Oh, it was sweet, dude. It was awesome. It was a great coffee warmer. No,
I found
it was big.
X in the basement.
Yeah. Oh.
Recently. It was just like,
Yeah. Yep. $10,000. Just so you know, it's obsolete.
40 megahertz.
Yeah, 40 megahertz, 68030. It had a math processor. That was a great machine, actually. It was a hand-me-down from him, and it still was really, really fast. But for 10K, ouch. Oh, yeah, sorry. So.
Does everyone know about buyersguide.macadmins.com? That website is amazing. It shows you the release schedule of all Mac and Apple devices, and so it kind of like helps you plan purchasing because it gives you an idea of when a new Mac is going to come out.
Yeah.
Based on the historical release schedule.
What's it called again?
buyersguide.macrumors.com.
Okay.
Google should have buying a Mac is the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I'm glad you mentioned that, James, because that's something that it's discussed a lot on the Mac Enterprise list. So since thank you for bringing it up. Since we're all system admins, a lot of people may know this, but some may not. Always, always, always try to buy ahead of time for the machines that you need, and don't wait to the last minute, because unlike, at home, it's easy to buy a new machine and you don't care if it has Lion on it or whatever, right? But if, let's say you wait till later this summer and you're gonna buy some machines that require Mountain Lion, and you haven't tested it for your labs, and you're expecting to deploy Mountain Lion in the fall, and you're gonna spend $500,000 on machines, which we do at Penn State for our labs. We buy machines that are even sometimes end-of-lifed because we get a better discount, and we've already qualified the OS to work for the next fall. You don't want to get stuck in the case of, and some schools in Australia and others, I'm sure more than those, have been caught in this scenario where they're buying 200 Macs, and they get revved, and if it's not in the PO to say, we must have this config, and you did your homework, and you already bought some of the test machines with the exact config, does it work for the fan blowers, the processor, all of this stuff, right, so they don't burn themselves out, that Apple shipped half of their order of the correct machines. They got revved, and they said, oh, we're going to be nice and ship you the newest ones because they're really good. Oh, and they require Mountain Lion only. And then they get there, and then they don't boot on their old image. So always, always, always buy machines early as you can, especially for labs, since we're system admins, because we're smart people, right? And we got caught in this years ago too, and we learned the hard way. It's like, oh great, do we not buy Macs this year? And we try to tell people who we support, from Media Commons, for example, they have a bunch of Macs requests throughout the year, and I had to train them too. And I said, look, if you think you're going to be adding 20 or 30 machines in the semester, and you're pretty sure about it now, and it's early summer, tell me now, because we order them. And sometimes we can still get end-of-life machines that support, but it's tricky. So, yeah.
It's sort of the opposite advice from a consumer. It's like you want
It is, exactly. It's counterintuitive. It's the opposite of consumers.
So you take what
Yep.
guy.macrumors.com says, and it's almost the opposite for the sysadmin, because it'll say don't buy in red when it's like almost about to come out. But for you, you might say, oh, I need to buy it now, or I'm going to not be able to get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had a very similar thing happen when the Mac Mini dramatic rev happened. I ordered a bunch of them and mounting brackets.
Oh, whoops.
The new ones don't fit in the old mounting brackets.
Yeah. You should use a bunch of hot glue. Yeah. And this might be the article that, I know we're a little bit off topic, but maybe that'll come up. Hello? And you're not loading because? Anyway, Apple has a K-based article, and it's been posted in Mac Enterprise a million times, and it will still continue to be every year because it comes up every single year. What model of Macs require what OS build? So occasionally you'll see a machine, an iMac for example, that'll ship with, you'll get it in your office and it'll have 10.7.2 on it. And you're like, oh, that's what it requires. Not necessarily. It may have originally shipped with 10.6.8, right? Or maybe in a special build of 10.6.7 and 10.6.8 combo updater system will boot that machine just fine. You want to test, and you also want to check their online documentation. This is actually it. Mac OS 10 server and builds for computers. So, and we ran into this problem recently. We were buying, the order this year, we had 110 Mac Minis, total of 225 machines, right? My head's on the chopping block if I say, yep, they'll work, and they get here and they sit in the basement all year. That's not good, right? So we always make sure we buy a few, and we know that it's the iMac mid-2010. Rusty and I dealt with this, and we were tweeting about it, and we're like, oh God, we misread this. And then we went back and reread it again. We thought we had an iMac late 2011, and it originally shipped with that build of 10.7.3, 11D 2001. Turns out Apple was actually shipping multiple versions of 10.7.3 that actually was universal, but they didn't tell anybody. It was really confusing. The best way is to post and ask questions to the lists. But it turns out we actually had the mid-2011 iMac, that's what the version was, and it was fine. It was at 10.6.6. Since we're going to have 10.7.3 in the labs this fall, we're golden. We had to test, of course, and it works. So the combo updaters to your OSs work most of the time. Sometimes they don't. So this is a really great list to keep, our page to be aware of and keep track of. So, all right. We've got until noon, looks like. But if we end early and we all get food before everyone else, I think that's okay. And they had carrot cake yesterday. That was awesome.
Just a quick question.
Sure. Yeah.
On the Mac Pad.
Yeah.
As far as buying a Mac or an iPad, whatever personally, since I can seem to have the brain trust of Mac here, where's the best place to buy a Mac? Is it just off the store, or are there other ways you get better pricing?
Because you work at Penn State, you want to go to it through eBuy, ebuy.psu.edu. Yep, you'll get better pricing there.
But that's for personal or just for work?
That's for work. For personal, go to the education store through Penn State, and you'll get maybe sometimes $50. For personal, though, you know what I've done a lot? I buy refurbished Apple.
Really?
Yeah, I have really good luck there. Do not buy RAM from Apple. Yes, I'll say that. I will say that on the camera. Where's the camera? Don't buy RAM from Apple. They will rip you off. It's 8 times as much. And
I
then,
figured in the salvage, you'd probably do the older stuff.
yeah, salvage is a good place to go too as well. But by the time it gets to salvage, it's been picked over so many times. Sorry, refurbished from Apple. So yeah, there's a store website. Somebody has their hand up.
I was just gonna say, don't buy RAM from Apple, don't buy SSDs from Apple either.
Right.
No.
Or from Dell, don't buy from Dell.
MacSales.com or WC.
Yes. Mac Sales OWC's SSDs are.
If you're buying a new machine for non-educational purchase, B&H Photo Video has some really good pricing. Free shipping.
B&H Video has really good what?
BHPhotoVideo.com.
They have good prices on, I'm sorry, what? Hardware.
Laptops,
Oh, really? They sell those too now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Have for a while.
Oh, really?
We can't buy them because Apple has used contracts. but-
Yep.
Amazon sometimes has a cheaper price somehow.
Amazon does too sometimes.
Yeah. Prices are usually set by Apple pretty strictly.
Oh, yeah.
You pretty much get the same price everywhere except for a couple exceptions.
Yep.
Amazon, maybe Walmart, maybe here and there, but it's usually set prices.
The thing
Store.
with Apple is that they reserve the profit margin for themselves, so.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to Best Buy, like I have friends that work at Best Buy, and the employee discount doesn't work on Apple products because Best Buy pays the same thing that they sell it for.
What we
So,
found is like we have an enterprise store with Apple and you get a little bit of a discount or whatever. And while they usually have one of the better prices because of that reason, if we go through value-added resellers, any of that other stuff that you buy with your computer, your bags, your extra cords, any of that stuff, these guys will jump through hoops for you.
Yeah.
And you'll get better prices overall with all that other stuff, so
That's true.
take that for what it's worth.
That's a good point. And you also can do end-of-life machines. If you're at an institution and you have an Apple thing, say, I want the end-of-life machines, and say, oh, and they're going to try and say, oh, you should buy the newest. Well, no, that's fine. Really quick, I'll show you. On the Apple store here, the wood you want to go is down on the lower left-hand corner under refurbished Mac. They have some killer deals on here sometimes. And they've been, sometimes refurbished means that there was a hardware failure and they fixed it. But also sometimes it means that if it's a laptop, this has actually happened. The power supply was bad, the laptop is perfectly fine. And they have to legally sell it as refurbished and throw a new power supply in. I bought a refurbished laptop years ago because that's exactly what happened. And I saved $200.
Compact and Dell used to go to their refurb site.
Yeah.
Because it delivered, something didn't work, modem,
Yep,
whatever.
yep.
Back in the modem days.
Yep, yep.
They shipped it back and
Yep.
it wasn't seated, but yeah, you can't sell this new now.
Right. And
Apple did that too.
and they've requalified it again, and it has the same exact standard warranty.
Oh, it does come with full warranty.
Full one.
Full warranty 1 year, which is only a year.
I
But
usually buy Apple Care.
yeah, I buy Apple Care, especially on refurbs. Yeah.
A lot of times buying through Apple, you might get a small discount and they'll, toss the free shipping at, and where it burns, you pay sales tax.
Yeah,
If
that's
you buy it from another online reseller, a lot of times you skip the tax.
a good point. Yep.
If you live in a high sales tax state.
Yeah, I buy from Amazon. I have 0 tax there, which is nice. But my sister lives in Washington. She has to pay tax. So, but Apple stores, you're right. If there's one here, and there is, King of Prussia is.
The other trick to Amazon is if you get an affiliate, then you can buy through your own affiliate links, which is probably against the TOS, but you can do it. And then you get back on your own purchases.
You can't do that everywhere. They won't allow that program in some states.
Yes, that's true.
Interesting. My gears are turning. Interesting. That's good to know.
It's a little 6% back.
Yeah. Penn State also, the eBuy system, they have a 2% cutback to Penn State's computer store. But then they end up reducing, that helps them offset costs of the computer store hardware, such as mice and things like that. Anybody can buy stuff from the Penn State computer store, by the way, I think. No, that's not right. Sorry, I lied. Sorry. I thought they had some available to anybody, but you have to have your Penn State ID. Sorry. Come and work at Penn State.
Orders?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'll just put them on my CRV and we'll load up. And here you go. Out of the back. Okay, what do you want? I got it. Any other questions or things they want to mention? Again, I appreciate your patience for Dave Test not being here today. Of course, he's out ill. It was very sudden, so I know he really wanted to be here, and he was really bummed because he loves this stuff as much as we do. So I appreciate you helping us make this a better session. Thank you.
You have a card for all of us to sign?
What's a card?
You have a card?
Yeah, I should have him. Yeah, I should give him a get well card.
At lunch, you should get one of the sign-in sheets that you have out there.
Sure.
Have
Yep.
everybody
And have everybody sign it. Sure, that's a good idea. If I can think of it between all the sites I still have yet to do and the online survey, I'll try to do that.
Someone made the survey?
What's that?
Someone made the survey?
No, it's actually on. I've got it through Google Forms. It's ready to go. I just need to send out the URL, and we'll make a pretty site for it too. But anyway, so. Oh yeah, so definitely, please fill out the feedback forms. You can say Justin was awful. We wish Dave was here instead. Perfectly fine to say that. I will not be offended. And then as you exit, there's a box over there, I believe, or you can hand them to James too. But thanks for coming. Thanks.